raining out now, which is kind of good. It's cooling everything off. Got a little bit of headway on this bike. Got the levers on, the handlebars back on. Got the Y-Pack switch on. I have an original Y-Pack switch with the green button on it, which is really rare. I think that's the horn, that's the kill switch, and that's high-low beam. The dip switch. I have an original lever here. Right here. It's missing the screws, but it's still pretty good. I could put that on, you know, and I'm thinking about it. Put as much original on as possible. But the one advantage to these new ones is they've got the hole drilled in them for a mirror, if you wanted to put a mirror on there. And they look shinier. I'm keeping all the original parts, the points, ignition, coils, 12-volt coils. This side's an aftermarket one with the choke control. I got the tack cable mounted on, trying to worm it through here a little bit. With the shorter bars, I got a, no, that shouldn't affect this. That shouldn't affect the tack. That's the cables. It's like this tack cable's a little bit on the long side. It's usually clamped down into this bar here, so I might do that. But what I was trying to figure out is where does it go, you know, behind the bolt, in front of the bolt, on the outside. And from all the pictures that I could see, most guys are running them, like this is just with the halo, are running them on the outside of the bolt. And it makes sense because you want this cable, tack cable and speedo cable to run as straight as possible. If I run it on the inside, it's got quite a bit more of a bend to it and more friction. Same with this side here. I'm running it on the outside. It's a little bit of a bend, but a lot less bend than on the outside there, or on this side. And the other thing is too, I loosened off the gauge bolts because I think they normally stick out a little bit more this way, but again, you want this cable to be as free as possible, so I'm going to set it right there. Get up on the horse. So, yeah, I think it's going to go a little bit like that. That looks pretty equal. The distance between here and here is pretty equal. So, you know, I might force it out a little bit so the gauges are a little straighter. But you want as little amount of friction as possible on those cables. Got the headlight ring in. Anyways, I got a text. Okay, let's put this bike on the center stand. Go dropping it in my sandals. Take this over. Oh, I should go back a little farther. Alright. That's a little sturdier. I think I'll put a tie-down strap on it just to be safe. I'm starting to tighten everything down now as I'm going along. Front end's done. Something's bent here a little bit. This halo or one of these brackets is bent. So when I get the headlight in, the whole thing needs to be shifted over about a 1/4 inch that way. Either that, or maybe I gotta take a little bit off my spacers, I'm not sure. Spacers aren't that much out. What was the other thing I was gonna show you? Oh, I got the Speedo and tack. I got 3 LED lights in each. I got them all soldered together, wired in. And I got 2 leads in here for the LED lighting. So that's ready to go. And they just tuck in like that. It tucks in pretty good, actually. It's a coming. I'd really like to get that inner primer on, but I haven't polished it up yet. And kick this bike over and get some blood pumping in its veins. So I tightened up the lower oil cable, but not the top 2. I want to kick it until there's oil coming out of here. Tighten these up, and then kick it until there's oil coming out of the tappets. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, that's it for now. This is the original front fender. It's not in bad shape. Needs cleaning up. A little bit of overspray. There's some black paint, and one little dent there. I could probably bang that out. And there's the fork brace for it. And here's the stanchions. They were all painted black and everything like that. So I'm gonna clean them up. And I thought it was riveted on there. I took it apart a couple of years ago, so, but they're not. They're just little nuts and bolts here that put that together. I'll probably buy some new ones, stainless. And I think I'll clean it all up, put it back together after I trace the, make a template of the fork brace. And let me put this all back together so that I have all the stock parts for this bike. And I might even put that front fender on there for now, because I just don't know when Peter's going to get around to painting that stuff. And I found another original, this is an original green, brand new side panel, and I found the other side. Just a matter of coming up with the money to buy it. So then just the tank needs painting. If I can get the color code and paint that metal flake green, that's the only part that I'll need painting. And I can go with the stock fenders for now. That's what I'm thinking, just to get this on the road. I want to drive this by September, or in September, in about 3 weeks. That's my goal. Doesn't look like much, but I've been screwing around with this bike all day. Probably got 5 hours into it. You would never know it. And still tinkering with this back fender, getting the alignment right. Trying to get the spacing in here to here equal. And you can see this fiberglass fender is off on an angle a little bit, but all the holes line up. So what I'm going to do is take out this top hole and Dremel it so it moves over a little bit. I might have to Dremel a couple of other holes to make that line up a little bit square. But you can see that's not square with the backbone. Although I got the fender nice and square now. And the other issue is where it bolts to the battery box, the horn bracket. Let's see if I can see down in here. Where are we? Right there. You may not be able to see. Anyways, where that horn bracket is, you can see it down here. You know, I can tighten this nut and bolt up here tight, and then there's a bigger gap on this one. You know, like at least 1/8 of an inch more, maybe 3/16 of an inch. Well, when I put a nut on here and pull it up tight, it twists the whole fender. The whole fender starts to buckle and twist just because of that little extra spacing on that side than this. Ideally, you'd like these 2 holes moved over a 1/2 inch like this, and the fender just be bolted by the 2 center holes. Right now it's bolted by the 1 center one and the outer one, and it's twisting and buckling. So I'm either going to have to shim, put more washers on this side, or another nut to equal it out, and I think that'll work, and that's maybe what I'll do. Or you know, ideally this bracket on the horn should be moved over ½ inch, or I make another bracket that fits in between here that will allow me to use the 2 center holes. But these just outers, I guess, just to shim this one here. But if you ever take this apart before you take it apart on yours, and it's out like this, and when you got this box out, I would be moving that bracket over ½ inch. Got the speedo cable and the tack cable on, and yeah, I'm running it straight down like this. I was going to run it to the inside above the yoke, but this is the easiest path of least resistance, going that route. So I'll have this one clamped to this down tube, and this will be clamped to this down tube, and that'll look pretty parallel. Like about that, eh? So that'll look fairly normal. And my shell here, the bracket's bent a little bit. I'm gonna offset this way, about ½ inch. If I go ½ inch that way, that'll come out ½ inch. And so I'm gonna have to take that off one more time and just tweak everything. But still need a center stand spring. Never did have one. And I don't think I ever had a side stand. Had the bracket, it's still at Peter's to be painted. I don't know when that's going to get done. And I had to Dremel these 2 holes up in here a little bit longer so that it pushes the fender back a little bit more to get this lined up a little bit better. Up here it's just loose right now. And the only way to get this level with the loop is to lower this down more, but then it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit right. I see even the pamphlets that this is on a little bit of a downhill compared to the loop. So I think it should be parallel, but that's pretty tricky to do. A lot of screwing around in here. I might try a few more things. Anyways, that's what I've been doing all day today. Tightening up stuff, getting stuff ready. Okay, lots of screwing around. I got her pretty good as I can get it. I had to make sure my my hoist is level first, dead level. And there's my level there. And I'm trying to get everything square to that, right? Get the right spacing in here and here. And get this fiberglass piece going pretty straight up the backbone. And the pitch is a little bit going downhill, but they all do that. And I see even in the brochure, it goes downhill a little bit. I got an equal gap around here, pretty much. And what I had to do was put 2 more spacer in there, like a nut there, nut there, just like there is on this plate. That I'm sure that plate comes with that nut in there from the factory, because that's the way I took it apart. But just by putting that extra nut in there, I'm able to tilt the fender down a little bit and bring that up. And I still have that issue down there. Can you see? You got a big gap here on that nut, and this nut's tight. So I'm going to make a spacer that'll fit on there, and square that up a little bit. Because if I tighten it up right now, it twists the whole fender and it throws everything out of whack. So I'm going to make a little spacer for that. Little dowel, cut it off at an angle, shove it in there. And that'll do that. Oh my god, that took forever. Still got to bang out a few little dents out of there. But that's pretty square. Ignore the pipe, it's just sitting there. Still waiting for the header. Okay, I'm done for today. Good. I got a correction on my last video, thanks to Philip. I was more focused on getting this all together and forgot to thread the damper into the cap. So that's what I got to do now. So by taking the two caps out, you can push the forks down and thread this onto the, well, I can't do that yet until I stick the gauges on there. Gauges. Like that. Like that. Thank you, Philip. Sixteenths. Wish I had a little flat 9/16 in there. Got to compress that down a little bit. There. There we go. I'll do the other one. Where's the other one? Right there. Put the gauge on it. Okay, now lift those back up like that. Whoop. Oh, where'd he go? Grandson Cash is here. Okay, let's see here. Where's my wrench? Dummy me, missed a step. Everybody was waiting up there. See how long it's gonna take to find it.
Oh, did you get that?
That was just one of the.
You mean to get that?
Need my wrench. Ratchet right there.
Yeah. I'll pass you this stuff.
Okay, helper. Okay, get that one started. I think this one I gotta pull up some more, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
You hold it.
Yep.
Where's the hard one? What I need is to stick something in here so I can push that down, I think. Let's see if we got enough room. Yep. I need a spacer.
Spacer.
One sec. Just gonna stick a little spacer in the socket so I can push this down as I tighten it. There we go. Okay, back to square one.
With a pool.
Could be. There's that one. And get this. Oops.
Oh.
That's just for the cable. That goes about there, I think. Right about there. Up here. Maybe a little bit more over there. Okay. Oh, we're back to square one. Thank you very much, Philip. Oh,
Yeah, it's work.
that wouldn't have worked too good. Okay, that's it for tonight.